Oh, hi. Hi, how you going? Sorry, I was just doing a bit of reading. Um, uh, you caught me by surprise there. Sorry, I'll get to the point. What was false? The false frame, false framing. That's going to be today's subject. What is a frame? Well, as a glass professional, I've dealt with broken glass in picture frames quite a lot. And you got to move all the things around because you're presenting a picture, really, and not as easy as you'd think. And obviously, if you just get one picture, but you got to make sure that everything's in the frame or outside the frame. We've been doing that for I don't know how long. It's got to be a couple of thousand years, I'd say. Really, really complicated job. You know what I mean? It's not for the faint-hearted. One little slip up and something's out of the frame and you get the wrong picture. And you can ask newspaper editors about this because they deeply understand it. You get one letter off or one fucking picture off or wrong thing. And it's like when people name their kids weird names, and it ends up bad and you see it down the track. I don't know, like Richard Eaton, just off the top of my head. I didn't prepare anything for that, but that's Richard Eaton would be a name that you wouldn't want to call your kid. There should be a book. There should be a registry. That should be the first priority use of AI. All of them. I used Grok this morning. Grok's very good. I was very impressed. I was like, holy shit. I put a bikini on the Iranian fucking extremist Islamic fucking leader like that, lickety split. You know what I mean? And then right after that, I could say, is this name okay to call my kid? And if it can't pick up that Richard Eaton isn't a name that you should be calling your kid, then struth. I'd throw that whole fucking thing in the bin. In fact, I might do that after this. I'll be like, hi, because I like to pretend. I think everyone's already started doing this. They speak to AI like it's a fucking Telstra operator, and you're like, also I'll go, excuse me, I'm having a child and I'm considering naming it this, Richard Eaton. Can you see anything wrong with that? And just see if it can answer. That because that's what a mate does. That's what a friend does. If it can't be that, if it can't prep me to the fact that I shouldn't be calling my son Richard Eaton, then I don't want to use it for anything else, and it's just a waste of fucking time. So that would be and now they're going to prep it all, with that name. But there's 1,000 names. There's 1,000 million really different, concepts that you could use, like the entire English, French, all the languages really as well, because they'll all have different meanings. So it's, I can't wait to see that type of thing. Perhaps if it can handle that, it might be able to handle, I don't know, something else, but it's definitely not fit to handle, government decisions. A bit like our Prime Minister or our former, I'm going to start calling him our former Prime Minister, really, because you can't break this many laws and still be called the Prime Minister in a country that, is pretty good at, or traditionally has been pretty good at maintaining its law system and doing all those things. And so this was called the false frame. But basically, I spoke the other day about left and right, and male and female, and I wanted to explain, and this explanation is coming from near on. How old is my son? My son's 13, so it's like this is 14. This is 14 years old, right? This observation. So 14 years ago, I was working at Fiona Stanley Hospital. That was my first union job, and I was a glazier, and I was working in a big labour hire crew, and we were installing windows that had been manufactured in China, and there was lots of problems going on. All the glue was failing, and there was all this weird stuff. This labor company called Global Labor Hire or something like Global whatever was attempting to bring this labor hire model of trades in which they buy subpar malfunctioning shit from China, and then they get a bunch of people that are fucking brown-nosing cunts to try and manage a group of laborers to do specific trades and expect that they're going to, understand all the complexities and all the interactions and be able to do. Anyway, it's basically the worst idea you could ever have, and it was the first time I'd worked in a labor hire thing like that, and the last. I will never do that again. Because the whole job seemed to be just you do your hours. All they spoke about was hours. It's like, we're all going to do the 10 hours today, and then we're going to do the double time and overtime on this thing, and we're going to click up the double bubble, and you know what I mean? It's always kind of like we're going to move along at a good pace, but they're not too fast, and they're just like whipping you and like then fucking slowing you down so that, I don't know, some bullshit. Bullshit fucking socialist, communist fucking ideology. And then they're like, and if you mention anything, they're like, oh no, we're all one big fucking crew, and we don't fucking mention that the fucking windows are fucking shit and the glue's failing and all probably going to fall out, and that it's ruining our manufacturing sector. It's like, as long as we're all just looking after our fucking things, so you can buy a jet ski and some fucking cocaine on the weekend. And that's what unions do to our fucking manufacturing and trades. Not that I haven't got a fucking chip on my shoulder or anything about it. It's just strange time for me, because I was almost killed by 20 people, 10 of them being fucking Kiwis. So, if there's one thing that the fucking unions look after, it's Kiwis, because they've got to put up all the fucking scaffolding. So I can't help but think that perhaps, there might have been some connection there. I think there's enough to fucking sniff around. But I didn't know that because I was an idiot. I was 27 or whatever it was, and 27-year-olds are morons. And that's another thing that the unions like to trick and fool. They like to trick the young people, and they're doing all types of filthy, fucking disgusting socialist shit. And I think it's about time we fucking explode with fucking dynamite all of their fucking offices and all of their shit. And we drive bulldozers through it, and we fucking shoot them with fucking machine guns. But I'm a little bit trigger happy. Okay? So don't take my fucking word for it. That's all in the hands of, very responsible army generals and all that. As I said, I'm just a chirpy budgie that fucking likes to crap on a bit. But during this time, I was what you would describe, I was flirting with an extremist leftist ideology, because I was an environmentalist. I was probably the most extreme. I was fairly interested in kind of renaturalizing the world by any means necessary, including like blowing things up. And I've spoken about this before, but there is a figure. So if 14 years ago, as the most extreme, and you got to remember this, like this is on a union. So the unions, they're the left, right? Traditionally, and this is what I'm saying. False frame is because they're tricking us at all levels, and we need to. When you have a false frame, you need to reframe the entire thing, and you need to expose the people that are maintaining the false frame and telling you that it's real, because I'd call that an act of war, because it's psychological warfare. It's trying to persuade you. It's gaslighting at the highest possible level. But basically, if I had to say 14 years ago, and I was on that fucking, Fiona Stanley job, I was a proud fucking CFMEU member. All this, it's like, isn't this the left wing? Isn't this the left? I'm an environmentalist. It's like I'm thinking about doing all these things. I want it whatever it costs, to fix the environment. And I think because I'd worked for a living and I had all this practical experience, it just seemed practical. I was like, well, if I practically put that fucking window in, I can practically fucking blow up that dam, and it all made sense. And there was lots of other things, but that group was called DGR. It's called Deep Green Resistance. And one of their founders was a guy named Derek Jensen. So if I had to declare 14 years ago, or if someone said, who was the most extreme leftist, or what was the most extreme leftist ideology that you were kind of going along with and following 14 years ago? And I would say, well, it would have to be Derek Jensen, who's kind of a radical feminist and is like environmental, they self-declare themselves as they're recommending environmental terrorism. That's pretty fucking left. Not just pretty left. As I said, if I had to, I'd be like, that wasn't just the most extreme that I followed. That was the most extreme that I'd ever encountered, and that's what I wanted. Right? I didn't do anything with it because I was 27 and I was a moron, and 27-year-olds can't fucking organize themselves a fucking Domino's pizza delivery without getting cheese all over themselves. So that would be what I'd declare. I'd be like, that's it. Now, when I say this false frame, right now, that individual, right, who again, it's like extremely feminine mannerisms. Not feminist, like he is a feminist, but extremely feminine mannerisms. He in Australian lingo, he kind of talks like a poof, like a kind of nerdy, like whatever. And I knew that then, and that I don't judge people on those types of things. I judged him on what he was saying, and I judged him on his writings and all of that. I was like, this, we're aligned, and that was constant. I was constantly in this camp where I was like, well, these people are they're a bit feminine, a bit this, but we're on the same page. I did kind of know that I was a little bit rougher around the edges, a little bit more perhaps bravado. And so I guess the last year or so, I've just experimented with my own feminine persona, and the problem is that it just goes really feminine. It goes really kind of, her name's Amber, and she's a chick, all right. But kind of different than how this guy was doing it. Anyway, this story is really long, isn't it? Fucking hell. Anyway, this guy's reading in a library. So it's like, imagine how small the frame is already getting. It's like he's reading kind of anarchist, leftist, environmentalist, feminist book in a library. This already kind of is squeezing down the entire world right down. It's like, because remember, we've only got two options, like left or right. Right? So we're like right out here on the left. And I'm saying that this figure is the most extreme leftist person that I've ever seen in like, within the realms of fucking reality. I don't know. But this person was getting absolutely harassed and disrupted and all these things by a bunch of individuals. I never saw them. You could hear them. That were supposedly protecting trans rights and were declaring him as transphobic. And I guess that was the moment where I went, oh well, and this you have to go through this to understand. It's like, seems like a bit of promotion's been put around this fucking trans thing, and that is the that, from my understanding or my version of the left, that kind of voids it all. As soon as you're being funded by pharmaceutical companies and media companies and soft drink companies, things like that, you kind of like, you're pretty, it's pretty weird. But the worst thing of all is where that actually goes to. Okay. And I spent the last year trying to understand the trans phenomenon within my own self. And I've been acting, but not really. Do you know what I mean? It's like everyone's acting all the time. It's like you can act. And I've done this lots of times. I've changed, like when I changed to be an environmentalist, it's like I went away from my whole group. They all called me things. They called me a hippie, and I didn't have like a big movement at the time I did it. I was actually rebelling. I rebelled away from my mates who were all smoking crystal meth and listening to fucking hip hop. Do you know what I mean? So it was like I went to the left, and then the weirdest thing is that the left was like super funded, super promoted down this ultra feminized. And again, it's not open and shut. And this is what, see, on the right side, on the people that just want to get things done, they kind of take things as open and shut. So it's like, oh, that's all these trans people. One, it's not the trans people specifically. Like, that just seems to be a phenomenon. And if anything, it's like basically like there are people that are open and that we're always going to be a bit experimental with all types of things. And basically all the corporations and socialist governments of the world, like basically let them into the wardrobe filled with women's clothes and drugs. That's kind of what happened. And these people, you know, a lot of them, I'm guessing, must have been pretty young when they were first introduced to this. Like, again, I went through this on my own. This was like deep. I'm not exactly. This was my like shadow. This feminine thing. I was a player. I was a fuckboy. I was one of these things. And so, yeah, my shadow was this chick named Amber who was, I don't know, you've seen a little bit of her, but I wasn't led into. Well, actually, no, I was attempted to be led into the fucking women's wardrobe with all the drugs, and I guess I just rebelled against that. So it's hard to get to a point where I'm not declaring that everyone who's promoted this has been grooming those people. But then it's like that isn't the end of the story either, because I was groomed to be on the construction site in the first place. And I don't know. It's like that has brought me bad things and good things as well. And so I assume that it's kind of the same if you're led into the drug-filled fucking women's wardrobe. But there's not a lot of, it's like you get through this certain spot and then you kind of just landing pretty firmly in prostitution or pornography. There's not a lot of room. And that's probably the main thing. I've been playing around with the dressing up in here, but I'm like, I don't really want to go out because I'm just going to receive that. And then that's where they say, well, that's because we've been sexualized. And I'm like, well, yeah, because what else were you doing it for? Why did all this money go to this? And this is like, then that's like the shadow of the world. It's like, if the politicians don't all get together soon and say, we turned an entire generation into digital prostitutes because we thought it was a good economic policy, then they're just lying. You know, it's like, how can we not see that? And then it's like, we turned an entire generation into drugged up, mutilated, in some cases sterilized, digital prostitutes, and then we saturated that market for infinity. And now we're left with a bunch of victims, like such a large number of victims that it makes that photo of Prince Andrew laying across 5 chicks look like he's the head whatever guide at the Girl Guides, and they're on a fucking abseiling excursion. Do you know what I mean? Like that's. It's like there's a prince laying on 5 women. It's like, what did you think princes do? When I look at in any book or read history, I'm like, princes pretty often have been laying across 5 women. And I've never heard those women be referred to as victims. When I see an entire generation that's been forcibly feminized, sterilized, sexualized, promoted, and pandered to, and groomed to be digital sex slaves in a inevitable, saturation of a dying thing, all by the age of 27. So it's like when I got flogged and almost beaten to death, it's like now there's a whole generation that's just like basically sold their soul and will be shaking in a corner of all the things that they've seen and participated in, and that have been funded and promoted by some of the largest corporations and governments across the world. And we will be, because the problem is with the social, it's like, oh, they're all got mind problems and body problems, and the worst case, like, oh, is your fake vagina infected permanently? It's like, okay, we've got subsidized fucking paracetamol. We've got subsidized fucking SSRIs. You're just gonna be on drugs. It's fine and that keeps fucking the GP employed. It keeps the fucking specialist fucking psychiatrists employed. It keeps the pharmacists employed. What are you against this community of fucking professionals being employed? Are you complaining? You got to be a fucking little prostitute for a couple of years there, and you were the fucking life of the party, and now you are like the fucking perpetual fucking mummy that we slowly wrap up with bandages for the rest of your life, which depending on how much you've been affected by this enforced profession, it could be anything from 2 months if you're really on the low spectrum. If you're drugged out and fucking and mentally ill, good chance you're going to kill yourself, statistically speaking. But there's the most case, life expectancy is getting really long. So you'll be kind of 120 years of socialist battery that we can just move around, and then you get a wage and you'll do all these things. It's like, this is socialism in 2026, comrades. Like, why aren't we? And I think it's the thing to complain. It's like you've got nice tits, and you get sex all the time, and you get all the drugs you want, and you're providing a service and a need for the community economy. Selfish Gen Z. How dare they? Obviously, that's at some point in that monologue, I slipped into some fucking passive aggressive sarcasm. But this is literally what as someone who is politically concerned, who is solutions based, is inheriting in this country. And the masterminds of this are basically one fucking morphine drip away from fucking Valhalla, to say it plainly, to socialist Valhalla. I don't even know what that would be. Imagine that. Because I think that exists, is communist Valhalla. And that is a fucking horrendous. Hitler's there. Hitler is definitely in socialist Valhalla. Like I said, communism is old enough. Socialism is old enough now for it to be a religion, reclassified as a religion. And as a religion, they've liked to, rub shoulders with some of the best. The Catholics are like, hey Catholics, did you know that we're a religion now? Like fucking like that scene on American Psycho. That's what fucking the guys going into socialist Valhalla are like. They're like, hey Catholics, hey Pope, we're the socialist religion now. Did you know that? Do you want to? I don't know. Do you want to swap strategies and fucking jam a bit? We can go back and fucking do some fucking amyl nitrate and then it's like, hey Islam, do you want to? We're a religion now. Hitler's in socialist Valhalla. Did you want to join forces? And so I'm pretty impressed with the fact that I just sat there and dealt with it, because that is like the thing. We got socialists, communists, fucking suicidal, fucking, Norse Vikings, and then we've got the Roman Catholic fucking empire of fucking hell. And then we've got the Islamic fucking hordes. And I'm sitting there with some fucking mascara, you know what I mean? And a fucking iced coffee. And that's fucking difficult. And I wouldn't have been able to do it if I wasn't thrown in the deep end and get on the tools, not some type of socialist fucking delusion where you go there for 3 hours and then we'll hold hands down to the fucking canteen and have some fairy bread, and then we'll hold hands back to the fucking job site and we'll switcheroo, and here's your nice shiny work site. You better buy some tools and learn how to fucking do everything, cunt. Otherwise we're going to punch you in the mouth. That's how I was learning. You know what I mean? I'd say more akin to kind of the traditional Royal Navy, British Navy, like get in there and do the fucking thing, swab the decks. And I'm all the better for it. You know what I mean? I don't have a fake vagina. I can seamlessly flow in and out of my feminine and my masculine, and I've managed to go like no. I've managed to say no to all the drugs that have been attempted to be shoved down my throat, and perpetually chaining myself to some type of pharmacist's fucking, mortgage payment. Because that's what it is, like psychiatrist mortgage payment. You know what I mean? Imagine, I guarantee you out there is literature that's like, for psychiatrists, like all you need is 100 patients and then you can live, you can work the 4-hour work week and be a psychiatrist, and you don't even need to go to a proper university, because you just phone India and they will fucking print you out a false fucking thing of it. And this is literally happening. And the funniest thing is I've been saying it's happening, told everyone, and then it was, and it's like, and we're at 1% disclosure at the moment. So what you're seeing now, like the fact that basically Indian con men were brought here to look after our very youngest children, who, because their parents are fucking at the fucking the Siemens factory listening to Hitler, and our elderly who were being basically euthanized. And like, this is actually happening. See, I've got 5 years under my belt of preparation for this, and processing and doing, and it's been very complicated. And I use this kind of humor to kind of, I don't know, to put it, just to keep going. And one day it's probably all going to land at me, and I might be sitting there as a rampant fucking alcoholic, just sitting on my fucking front lawn like fucking Clint Eastwood with a fucking loaded revolver, just saying, "Get off my lawn." That's probably what I've got in my future, but maybe not, because of this feminine thing. And so that's where it's like, it's not. If they use a completely bullshit thing, it wouldn't have worked. There is some truth in everything that has been used to socialize and communize the world. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's not that these trans kids, which, if you're under 30 and you've gone through this whole thing, you're still a kid, aren't the fucking problem. And they're going to have some very new and very whatever issues, and we need to be supportive of them, and we need to be unsupportive to the monstrous fucking thing that has victimized them and has used them and abused them and all this shit. And that is what socialism and communism will always do. And so it's like basically like, if I have an organization or a farm or anything like that, there will always be a door open for anyone who is different in that way, because there's so many of them. As long as they're willing to, work on themselves, I don't care. And in fact, it's like, I'd encourage it. It's like, I think the thing of being like, no more fucking dudes in dresses, don't fight. It's like, that doesn't work. It's like, this is them now, and they've gone very far, and this will be part of it. And if you close it down, it will just become a weird thing. So it's like, you do whatever, go either way, be fucking gorgeous, be all the things. Just don't be a communist, because they're the least problem. The main problem is the boomers and the Gen Xers that are just deeply communists or deeply fascists, because it's very kissing cousins at this stage with this thing. If you've been benefiting from a professional, higher paid, higher status, higher fucking thing within this fucking this communist fucking trough, pig trough, where you just and you've been fucking just a gluttonous fucking absolute disgusting fucking slug while this shit is going on. You are the fucking problem, not the victims. And then so I said 14 years. And this is, this is a big thing. This is from all the children, I would say up to, it's got to be like 27 is kind of the age. So it's add 27 to 14 is 30, 41. So from 0 to 41, you are potentially have been absolutely corrupted and by this. And that's a big thing to be forgiving of. And I don't exactly know how we're going to do it, but what we need to do is we need to start talking about the actual frame, because that basically what they're doing is it's all momentum. It's just they've broken it down to caricatures, extreme, stereotypical, two-dimensional images of what a right-wing person is and what a left-wing person is. And it's just wrong. It's just wrong. It's so wrong so quickly that it is basically an abattoir strategy. It's a herding operation. I've said that again as well. They've just herded everyone into this thing using like little here, look, follow the trans flag, follow the Palestinian flag, follow the anti-Semitism, follow the fucking environment, follow Greta Thunberg, follow this, and then you're all like you're all in a pen, and you're starting to maybe realize, and it's the people that you've been calling the far right that are fucking cowboying in on their fucking noble steeds and fucking, and breaking all the fences down. But we've got to do it in that kind of like, that, well, I do it, I'm not doing it for you, I'm doing it for the world, and I don't want any, get off my fucking lawn. Like that's where I'm coming from. I'm saying, yeah, we helped you, but get off my lawn. And don't do it again. You know what I mean? And go and police the people that fucking did this to you. And no, I don't care if you identify as a woman. You have to be forgiving that I might get it wrong. You know what I mean? And try and learn how to do something productive and try and learn how to live off less, but do it on your own terms. You know what I mean? It's like you can be exactly the same amount of a far left environmentalist if you and your mate go and buy a fucking horse and go and have a herd of sheep, and you go up to fucking Brokeback Mountain and fucking and herd sheep. And that's what we cleared the way for. It's like Heath Ledger died for that. Heath Ledger died so you and your mate can fucking ride and herd horses and sell organic, goat meat and fucking sheep milk and goat cheese, and just fuck away up in the tent, and no one cares. And you don't even have to be married. You don't have to have that weird marriage like that was his actual wife, which is weird as well. And then Jake Gyllenhaal is the guy that I just used in the Prince of Persia thing. So it's like, that was good. And you don't even have to really go herd sheep. You can just tell everyone that we're just going up to fucking Brokeback, fucking herd some fucking sheep. And you can go to Sydney and fucking dress up like fucking Courtney Act or whoever. And all of that's cool. But just don't expect me to pay for it. And get the fuck off my lawn. Get the fuck off my lawn, you sexy little cunt. Like that. And this is the problem. It's like, unfortunately, as a openly, I'm very verbally open. I'm like, The problem is with the trans thing and with this, the whole thing, the feminized, with all the fucking things, it's like, is that I expected my whole life, I was like, I've been trying to, because my father married someone who was 16 years younger than him, and she basically fucking robbed him, and then tortured him for the rest of his life and stole his children, and that's a terrible thing. And so I'm deeply suspicious and careful around young women. I love them. They look like chocolate cake, and I don't know exactly where the number is, especially now. It's like, I can't tell. I think they should carry a sign around, just personally, but we're not. That's a little bit too fucking socialist and fucking and fascist. So I don't know, but I just basically am like, no, get away from me, get the fuck away from me. You look beautiful, you look very wonderful, you're very, like, even the little way that you look so happy and like whatever, that it was great. Now the problem is I've been prepared for that my whole life, and so I've been avoiding young women my whole life. I didn't think that the young men were going to start looking like fucking Britney Spears. You know what I mean? And J-Lo. I wasn't exposed to that. I wasn't prepared for that. That is a fucking problem, okay? When I got through the Brokeback Mountain phase, you know what I mean? I think Jake Gyllenhaal, he's a beautiful-looking man, and I think Heath Ledger, beautiful-looking man, you know what I mean? It's like, okay, yeah. But I was never lured. They didn't lure me enough. That was like the first carrot on the fucking, because they were really fishing. They weren't hurting at all. They were fishing for all the gays. And big shout out to all the gays out there. And I guess it wasn't my type of bait. But yeah, you get this is where it's like, you get an 18-year-old that looks like Britney Spears, and it's like, you've done it. Well done. Well done. You've turned everyone fucking gay. You know what I mean? Well, serves us right for being so fucking homophobic. You know what I mean? Yep, you're right. Well done. Yes, everybody's fucking gay. And if you're not gay, they're in denial about being attracted to these feminine. It's like, that's the stupidest thing about it. And it's not like anything we've ever experienced. This has always been going on, I suppose, in something for certain circles, all this thing, but it's like, this has been socialized, mass-produced and mass-distributed and mass-promoted across the entire world. So there are millions and millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of these human beings who are wonderful, and that has to be part of the fucking conversation that we're going to have. And it's not all bad. And it's just, again, it's just like, just get the fuck off my lawn. And I think because there's been this false frame held, we need to just get real. And we are Australians, so we speak plainly all the time, and we just need to speak really plainly. We're just like, get the fuck off my lawn, right? And it's like, whereas, and look, to be honest, if I think of myself as a middle-aged man, if I'm a 40-year-old man, I have a property that I have a house that I want to build and do all these things. It's like I needed labor. It would be, say I need someone to help me do something on the property. You know what I mean? I'm stuck in nowhere, no man's land, because it's like, say I hire 2 fucking German backpackers, right? I don't want to do, and they're chicks and they're beautiful and it's wonderful, all these things. So I don't want to do that, because I don't want to fucking have any fucking opportunity of being accused of any type of sexual harassment or any fucking shit like that. So I will never in my fucking life hire 2 fucking beautiful young women to do anything, despite the fact that they're eager, willing, beautiful, and more than likely, if I was single and it's like, there might be a thing. And that's how people used to meet each other and fall in love. But it's like, that's not ever going to happen because of the world that they've made. So that's what's squeezing me. I'm actually this kind of outgoing, social fucking, caring thing person. And that system has turned me into fucking Clint Eastwood on my lawn in a rocking chair with a fucking handgun saying, get the fuck off my lawn. And I don't even want a lawn. So I'd be like, get the fuck out of my little fucking tree section at the front of my property. But I did think, that I could hire a guy, but then it's like, I've done that already. I've hired a guy, tried to teach him some skills, do some things, and I got accused of like, at one point, he's like, I don't just want to work here while you increase the fucking. And this was my friend. I was friends with, like, it was like he was doing some work for me, helping me along, and I like helped him out way too much. I gave him a place to live, did all these things. He kind of whatever. He goes, I don't just want to fucking sit here while you increase the value of your house, and pay me and give me a place to live. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? I'm not married to you. Do you know what I mean? And I can't see that that's, if it's like, although they may be feminine, all these things, and they might be ultra feminine and still really productive. It's a bit iffy because the stereotypical feminine archetype that they seem to be following is of a little slutty little like nympho tween. And it's like, it's kind of like, so if you were speaking to women, it's like, that's like the chocolate aisle at fucking Coles or Woolworths. So they're just all like, and then we've turned the whole world into a fucking supermarket. So all the young boys and girls, or not all of them, but a lot of them, are just pretending to be fucking a Toblerone or a fucking, or a Kinder Surprise. And it's like, that. It's like, and then the whole world's kind of like, yeah, Shannon, you just build all the fucking houses and fucking sit there and sit on your lawn and your rocking chair and do it for fucking nothing, get no respect. No, it's like, fuck off. No respect, I tell you. It's just insane. And this is what I say, false frame. False frame. The only way I can see to do this is we need the super sexy fucking trans woman who's a guy, who was born a boy, who wants to be a girl, who is still an amazing fucking tradesman. And then that is just a nightmare. Like, basically, they're just like, because every guy, if there's a hot chick on a work site, every guy is like obsessed with that chick. So because she's the only one there. So again, that's why like this multi-gender fucking equality fucking, it's like that, because the women just say, I don't want anything. It's like, I'm sorry, I've got millions of years of fucking evolution, fucking, and imperative to reproduce running subconsciously, unconsciously through my brain, and you're walking around with tiny little shorts on and fucking boots, right? That was bad enough when that was just women. The idea that that's going to be men as well, and I'll remind you all that I got heckled and hounded and chased out of a fucking CFMEU fucking cafeteria because I wore white steel cap fucking volleys because I was concerned that the boots were fucking hurting my feet and my knees. It's like we're not prepared for this at all. There is no. If I compare what we're looking at now to like the 50s, when there was like, sexual harassment, all these things, and women were already very promiscuous and presenting all these high heel, all this stuff, and men were like able to sit there and drink. It's like, I think they were better prepared, but I don't want to go back to that. I think what we have now is an impossible situation where only the cult members are still going on with it, and all the cult members have given themselves really cushy jobs in all of our fucking positions in government, from local, as I've seen this morning, all the way up to the tippity top of our fucking prime minister. They've given themselves high paid, really lax fucking positions, floating in a fucking echo chamber of their own fucking extremist ideology, which literally includes people promoting that we remove the consent laws on infants. And this is what, do you know where did I hear this from? Because I hadn't really delved into it that much, despite the fact that I was running around putting makeup on. I heard this from the person who 14 years ago I would have declared as the most extreme leftist, the most extreme environmentalist, the most extreme person I knew. So that's like we're not like we're not like Donald Trump won again. Oh, we're in the right. It's like we're going to be dealing with the effects of this left on left fucking, war that has happened for the last 15 years, which includes the largest religious organizations, the Islamists, the Catholics, and the communist socialists. The largest experimentation with drugs, pornography, digital public relations, which is basically like hypnotism and brainwashing, and the largest experiment with like totalitarian fucking social strategies. It's like we've got 50 years of dealing with the side effects of this, of the damage, of the trauma, of the torment, of the confusion, of the incompetence, of the fucking entitlement. It's all of it, and the only people that can fix it are the people that are sitting on their fucking lawn with a fucking revolver saying, "Get the fuck off my lawn." But in order for us to begin to fix those problems, you need to surrender en masse. And that's why I call it the swarm. What I really believe happened, and I wrote about this, I don't know, about 11 years ago, 10 years ago, 9 years ago, whatever it was. And I said the swarm would end. And I basically compared what I believed was happening was that the human race, the human species, was being provoked into a locust response, which you can do to grasshoppers. We can turn grasshoppers into locusts. And this is what was done. And it's probably more than likely been done in select locations across the world. Like when we talk about Babylon and fucking Sodom and Gomorrah, all these fucking things, or Sodom, I think certain leaders, rulers, kings, whatever, like, were drawn towards this, use this strategy, learnt this thing, basically, because it's really easy. Like you do it, you just keep collecting and sweeping in all the fucking, basically all the coins that everyone's dropping while they're filming themselves suck dick. And then you just have to leave at the right time, and it's not like it changes instantly. So you've got tons of time, and this is what these people have done. I know, I've got some names, but it's not really worth even fucking going into that, because that kind of just sets up for the next fucking round of it. And it's like, nah, this swarm is fucking over. Whatever you've done, whatever you've fucking participated in, whoever you think you are, all of it, has a potential to be fine. Like, I don't care. I'm not bigoted. I'm not judgmental on anyone. If your intention was to attract, 40-year-old fucking single fathers to fucking 19-year-old guys wearing dresses, like you've done a good job. You've done it. But I don't know where to go to from there, because the illusion that I'm going to marry, it's like I've already prepared myself to not marry the woman doing that. There's no way in fucking hell I'm going to marry and look after and fucking care. Like, I'm not, and no man is going to, because we're almost all dead, because all of this landed on fathers, especially young fathers. It landed on us when we were already being fucked by the entire fucking boomer generation. You know what I mean? And the feminists and the fucking thing for a long. So it's like we're just fucked. And I kind of think it's like the problem is like that's actually stimulating. It's like they won't stop until they see those fathers exhausted and fucking just like, and then they're like, that's like some fucking signal. I don't know what's going on, but it's weird. But yeah, there's no place to to experiment on the entire world anymore with ideas, especially ideas that include fucking and raping children. And I guess it's like I was focused on, because of the vast numbers, I don't ever want to pursue a strategy that involves the ostracism or the imprisonment or the abuse or anything of a mass population that I believe has been victimized by a fucking previous generation's fucking exuberance. And I had an idea about what was going on. I guess maybe out of self-preservation, I protected myself by thinking that this stopped at 18-year-olds and that it was bad enough then. You know what I mean? It's 18-year-olds to fucking, as I said, 40-year-olds. And I'm like, and it's bad enough then. But what I've been exposed to in the last 2 days of how deep and disgusting this actual fucking level goes, of the fucking actual true, not hiding, front-facing fucking promotion of pedophilia goes within this community of fucking socialists and communists and fucking rainbow fucking flag waving fucking Nazis. I'm going to find it very hard not to fucking, you know what I mean? Not to arm myself to the fucking teeth and roll in tanks and fucking open fire on a bunch of you unless there is a fucking absolute fucking submission right now and a retreat. It's because the problem is, it's like I guess I've been called to this, to speak about this for some particular reason. Maybe that reason is the fact that I've been a father since I was 20. So in my interpretation now, a 20-year-old or a 21-year-old is a child. So I was a child that raised my children. The idea of breaking that fucking, the trust and the duty and the responsibility that you have to protect those children, to like prepare them, to in a lot of cases discipline them. Like there is no way that is anything that should be promoted. And you factor in the things that they're actually talking about now. It's like the abortion and the surrogacy and all these things. It's like I was instinctively and biologically and very naturally, I would say, allowed to be a father. And I am so absolutely repulsed and fucking disgusted and outraged and furious that there are people out there without fucking children that are promoting a fucking socialist, huge population as well. Huge level, like millions of people that are promoting to millions, in some cases billions, actually. It's like, if you think about really the heavy-handed fucking promotion of this shit, billions of people promoting to billions of people that it is okay to fucking rape someone else's fucking child openly. I can't, like, I'm in shock. I think, and in a lot of cases, them saying like, they're like, oh, the children, in the worst cases, they're like, the children are wanting to do it. And it's like, children want to do lots of fucking things that it is your job as a parent to stop them doing. And it is your job as not a parent to not even be in the fucking conversation. And the fact that I'm learning that not only did they fucking think that they were part of that conversation, you know, but they've put me in jail to force that fucking, and it's like, I would not admit to being a fucking public school teacher in this fucking country for a while. I would not admit to being a fucking family court judge, family court lawyer, family lawyer, fucking any of this shit, really. Get the fuck off my lawn. Do you know what I mean? Basically, my entire job as a parent is saying, no, I know you want to eat a fucking bowl of ice cream, but you're not allowed. No, I know you want to play with that petrol and that cigarette lighter because you want to see the pretty flames, but no, you're not allowed to. And it's like, it's funny enough, it's like the overexposure to porn, all these things, it's like I can kind of have an idea of my child, like as he gets older, or as specifically a boy. Girls I have more trouble with, it doesn't matter, but like masturbating or something too, it's like whatever, okay. But you know what I mean? If my kid starts doing that in the middle of the fucking park, and then it's like, where's that conversation? Oh, little Tommy's whacking off in the park again, the playground again. It's like, you got to stop them doing that. And it's not even a leap. And then we've literally got teachers saying that, oh, the kids should be fucking able to do whatever they want. And I really didn't know that this was how fucking deep this shit goes. Like, what the fuck is going on with this shit? I don't. These, and the problem is, it's like, if I take this individual that I would have just declared as the most extreme left person 14 years ago that I could imagine, condoning blowing up dams, all these things, a high utilization of the tribal, of like Dunbar's number. So it's like the 150 people that you're allowed. It's like there are potentially some of the edge, the very outer edge of this monstrous ideology that in, say, a tribal organization are perhaps like what has happened, and are perhaps kind of fine if dealt with in a tribe. But it's like that is a tribe. It's like there were tribes that would live in teepees and be very peaceful, and then there were tribes that would fucking go around fucking smashing rocks on children's heads because it depended what that tribe's fucking thing was. It's like, and this is traditionally what we've been heading against in our attempt to civilize ourselves, is to get some type of core tenant that we can all live under. But that needs to be very vague. And that is what Christianity is. It is a vague attempt to control an unnatural and unrealistic amount of people. But with that, we have benefited a lot of things, and we are on a sliding scale of egalitarian as a whole. But that only works because it's vague. And I just think when you strip it down to its core, and you end up at the cross, and you're like, okay, the cross. What was the cross? The cross was a disciplinary tool used by the civilizational empire, and this young man was nailed to it. And if you're not explained much more, that's no different to a sign in a car park that says, if you don't pay your ticket, you're going to get a fine. That's all that is. You know, like that's what that is. And so, considering our state and our governments were all kind of forged from, it's like there's been a handover from church to state based on that. But what is the image now? Because there was like the connected to that, if you don't pay a ticket, you get a fine, which was the cross. There was people that would dedicate their lives to prayer. There was women and men that would visibly, transparently, like devote themselves to understanding God's will, and all these, like this entire structure of celebrating beauty, of reflecting on God's will, like constant. And what that has been replaced with and so hypocritically and so disgustingly is like, all priests are pedophiles. Let's overthrow the fucking church by making pedophilia illegal, and not just socially acceptable, but like, I would argue socially enforced. And the problem is, it's like, before you get to any of the deep and confronting and disturbing and all the things, like controversial, all the things that are just waiting behind that fucking door. You can imagine the holy door in fucking, it's like, before you get to any of those fucking things, my answer is like, the job of a father is to prepare the child for the real world. And in the real world, if you get used to, you know what I mean, jumping on someone and being, you know, on a whim allowed to fucking manifest whatever you want. It's like to go to the fucking thing, the perpetual fucking ice cream and chocolate and fucking, you know, run on the road and do it. Like, they're all the same thing. And it's like, if you get to the story, Jesus is like, he didn't even meet his father because his father apparently was God. And then what's worse, and then his father tells him that he's not ever going to see him and that he's going to make him do all this stuff, and then he's going to be killed. But the stuff he was doing was pushing back at a system of control of it, and it's like, and all of that. It's kind of the inevitable. It's like when your father says, I'll give a better example. Say your father says, don't run on the road. And this is personal, and this is, you know, this is confronting to me because my brother literally died on a road by being, you know, irresponsible, I would say. And unfortunately irresponsible on something that was, you know, subconsciously promoted by my father. So that's, you know, even worse. And I don't think my father ever would have felt that he wasn't. But how does that change if it's, don't run on the road, you'll get hit by a car and you'll die? Okay. There's a baby on the road, you run on the road, you save the baby and you die. You get hit by a car and you die. You're a hero. So that it's never, and that's kind of, is that, is that the modern day interpretation of what the Christian message is? It's like we're told not to do things for our own good. And that is majoritively true and should be respected. And this is the respect your elders. They know better. And so we're instructed to live a life of humility and of what's it called? Where you say no, where you're not gluttonous and you're not whatever. And gluttony exists in anything. But it is up to you to know when that is just a guideline to give you the best chance in the world, and when it is not to be taken literally. Don't run on the road, you'll get killed. Baby on the road, you run and save them. It's like you've obviously run on the road to do that. And even if you save them, it's even different. It's like then it's all thing. It's like if we think literally, you never would have done anything. And I feel like we are in the most dangerous time and the most dangerous display of literalism that I could have ever imagined. You know what I mean? And this manifests as like literalism means if we promote these two words, anti-Semitism and Islamophobia, it's like in literalism, it's like you're anti-Jews and scared of Islam. And I don't think that we I could say, I'm in Kingsley right now, we as a population of Kingsley can actively prove that we're not in that paradigm right now. I don't think as West Australians we can. I don't think as Australians we can. I don't think as English-speaking people we can. I don't think as Christians. I don't think as anything. I don't think as human beings we can say right now confidently that we are not stuck in a literalist nightmare. And it's the most, like, basically, to put it plainly, other people's children are not your fucking, they're not your like little puppy from the fucking pet store. You know, and we could go, it was like when I was a kid, we had puppies in the pet store, and there's a whole bunch of problems involved with that. Yeah. But I'd rather that than what's going on now. Even if 10 of those dogs are getting thrown off to make a fucking movie about a fucking pug and a fucking little ginger cat, if they're getting thrown off a cliff, I'd rather that than what's going on now, because like we've turned Milo and Otis, the horror of Milo and Otis, which is, I kid you not, it's like they found out that they could film animals, put them in weird places, then have a narrator over the top and make fucking millions and millions of dollars with it. And it was so cheap you didn't have to pay actors. It was the first iteration of AI. And no matter what was going on with children or something in Hollywood, it's like, fuck me. That's the fucking world now. That's the world. I've proven there is absolutely not only are they getting these fucking kittens and puppies and throwing them off cliffs, which aren't kittens and puppies, just quietly, and filming them and putting their own narrative over the top. But they're now also creating fictionally photo-based things for them to follow. And I'll tell you one thing I did do as a kid after I'd watched Milo and Otis. I would pretend I was Milo and Otis. You know what I mean? Because that's a human. They're humans narrating. On the top of that. In the best cases, that work, like The Lion King, if that inspires you to be courageous and noble and fucking avoid fucking frivolous, okay, yes. In the worst case, if it persuades you to fucking be furries like Milo and Otis, be thrown off a fucking cliff by pedophiles, by socialist fucking pedophiles, we're like, holy shit. And the problem is that these people are hiding behind banners and simplifications and confusion and these like false alignments, and they're attempting. It's like the world right now is like that show Survivor, and everyone in the dying days of this are making these fucking weird fucking alliances to try and keep their numbers high and to keep the morale high and to keep all this stuff going. And it's like, and this was before, but this was before, like, I, as a person who's actively been looking, actively been interested, interacting with this extreme left for 14 years, deeply affected by it, constantly obsessed with research, all these things, I wasn't aware of the outright fucking things that these people are fucking promoting. And I think I know what's going on. I think majoritively the promotion on women to not have children, to use contraception, do all these things, I think these childless women and childless men, I think they sexualize the image of a healthy parental fucking arrangement, because it's like they maybe they didn't have it, or maybe it's like they don't have it. They're not able to have it. And so in the vacuum of not able to having it, instead of getting slapped in the face with reality and listening to the parents when they say being a parent is the worst, most annoying, constant fucking bullshit fucking job that there ever exists. And in our current fucking iteration, you are not fucking, it is the worst possible thing ever. You know what I mean? It is a fucking nightmare being a parent. A nightmare. But these people that have been persuaded to not be parents or to delay their parenthood or to do all these things, they are participating in this fucking party, festival, fucking nightclub, LSD, fucking MDMA, fucking cocaine, fucking drug-fueled fucking thing. Which is a manifestation of their fucking abuse. They're wanting to land with mummy and daddy in a fucking in a postcard image of something nice. But because they're surrounded by debauchery, they're projecting that onto it. And then they're starting to write rules for what's going on in their fucking heads. And then these are the people that are fucking interacting with our children. And we need to stop ordering the world and policing the world based on the outliers. Yes, if a woman's raped and it's fucking thing and it's terrible and she wants to get with that, then that is an outlier case. But we're not talking. I have a problem with women being fucking persuaded that abortion is the same as getting your eyebrows done, not the woman getting raped, not having to carry the rapist's child. I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about the fucking 80%. And I'm not worried about the 80% of young people living lives to fuel a fucking economy of alcohol, drugs, entertainment, fucking fast food that are clearly obstructing parents from parenting properly, and then sexualizing the family. And it's like, why do I think it's sexual? Well, look at pornography. Do you know what I mean? And the biggest fucking thing, the problem I have is like, we're so deep into this because it was something you couldn't speak to. It's like everyone's seen this fucking thing and it's like, whatever, something's going on there. The people that don't have children are sexualizing families because they want to be in a family. Then they're telling the story that is a healthy family, is a sexualized family. And that is the complete opposite of the fucking truth. A sexualized family is a fucking nightmare. A sexualized family in real fucking life is no different to the obese family. You know, in some of these ideologies, it's like if a child is old enough to put shoes on, they're old enough to consent to having sex with a fucking adult. And it's like, what the fuck are you fucking talking about? That's like, if a child is old enough to put rollerblades on, they're old enough to fucking rollerblade down the hills of San Francisco and die smooshed up against a fucking tram in that fucking faggot fucking bullshit fucking rainbow flowers in your hair fucking cult mecca that should be fucking nuked. The fuck are you talking? If a child is old enough to put shoes on, they're old enough to consent to having sex with a fucking adult. What the fuck? If a child is old enough to consent to stealing mummy and daddy's wallet and going to fucking Baskin and Robbins or fucking, what's the other one? Ben and Jerry's, which should, again, it's like, Ben and Jerry, where's your fucking comment on this? Are we going to burn down every fucking Ben and Jerry's fucking thing in the entire fucking world? Like a fucking pyre to fucking rid the world of this fucking ice cream fucking cake fucking nightmare? If a child is old enough to steal mummy and daddy's fucking wallet, take their money and go and fucking buy $100 worth of Baskin and Robbins and fucking die in a fucking diabetic fucking coma or fucking be inflicted with lifelong obesity, then they're old enough to fuck a fucking adult. Which in turn means it's like, if you don't want the full-time responsibility of being a parent and the fucking agony, because it's agony, it's the most agonizing fucking, frustrating fucking bullshit job there is, then hey, become a fucking socialized teacher. You only work for fucking this amount of fucking weeks. You get all these things. You only work fucking this many hours a day. And hey, if you like fucking kids, go on down to Baskin and Robbins and fucking take them for a fucking, a triple fucking scoop. If you like little Jimmy down in the front row who's fucking always, putting his hand up and fucking, it's like, take it down for a fucking triple scoop at Baskin and Robbins and take your little fucking date down the thing. And we'll wave our fucking pride flag the whole way. And I didn't even, it's like, this is fucking coming from someone who's like, it's how fucking literally. And see, the problem is, again, what truly isn't being told, right, is the true fucking story about what microcosm, what traditional archetype is missing and is not being spoken about. Funnily enough, and it's in everyone's face, and I guess this is, I'm going to finalize it all here. The archetype that has been capitalized and commoditized and mass-produced and fucking industrialized and is an absolute fucking plastic pollution nightmare, Barbie doll fucking nightmare, is the archetype of Prince Charming. The Prince fucking Charming archetype has been mass-produced by Temu and communism, and this is what it results to. Because the truth is, like, the Prince Charming, and I will say, like, I feel, and this is part of the problem. This is part of the problem with the constant fucking paranoia and fucking whatever of this, and not realizing that you're constantly in that, you're promoting it. But the Prince Charming archetype is like Prince, right? He might be 22. He might be younger, really. I don't know. Princes, what are they, like 18? It depends how old you are. I'd have to do a survey to fucking get the true answer right. Prince Charming, right? Now, the problem is how old is Cinderella? How old is Snow White? How old is all these fucking people? And the true answer is, it's like, well, Prince Charming's probably fucking 22. And Snow White and Cinderella is probably 12 or 10 or 11. And that is why it's a fucking long, dramatic story. That's it. And you can't fucking mass produce 24-hour news cycle, fucking CNN constant breaking. You can't do that with a fucking thing that used to live in folklore and as a story. So the archetype is supposed to encourage the men to. It's Sleeping Beauty. It's not. It's like they're off limits. They're not allowed. And to the women, it's like they're the person that you've got to whatever, but it's not allowed. It's like whatever. Because it's like you move the frame. It's like, all right, the guy's 22, the girl's, just say the girl's 10. Or to be open and whatever, the boy is 10. The boy or the girl is 10. The fucking man is 22. By the time the man's 32, that boy or girl is 20. And that's nothing. I'm in it. I'm currently in a fucking relationship with that same exact fucking age gap. And I've been in relationships with far larger age gaps. And I can speak exactly about what that is. I did the reverse. I did, and this is why I fucking pretend to be whatever it is. And my daughter fucking keeps yelling at me and saying, "You're not Cinderella." It's like, hang on, I think I am fucking Cinderella. Because to me, my Prince Charming was a woman, an older woman who was, wonderful, nice, responsible, smart, and also flawed. But it's like, and whatever, and it's like I've loved older women since I was young. I was deeply, passionately in love with my hairdressers, with my teachers, with all these different things. And I think, luckily, to my memory, and none of them were men. None of them were men. They were all women. But none of them went against that. None of them misused that. And that's wonderful. I guess there is an argument that, or then that became something that I pursued that did disrupt my life. And I think maybe there's some women in that, because we have almost over-promoted this Prince Charming thing, and it's a fucking nightmare. But that's not really the point, because that's never been the thing. It's that the point is that they've taken a concept, you know what I mean, and they've pornographized it. They've hypersexualized it. And it's like the idea of the fairy tale, of the folklore, of the story, is to desexualize it. That's the whole point. And then we've got to go, well, so people have hijacked, commandeered our cultural, traditional, and very old strategies for dealing with kind of awkward and perhaps taboo and complicated subjects, like the fact that, well, obviously there will be older men and women that are attracted to underage men and women, and I think vice versa. There are young men and women, underage young men who are attracted to older men or women. And the idea of that fairy tale is to elongate that to an acceptable level, which we put an arbitrary figure on. Not arbitrary. We put an exact fucking figure on. And everybody fucking knows about it. And there is an exact and fucking uncompromising reason to why that is there. And it's like, if you want to, the problem is, it's like, because it's so, weirdly, they're out in the open saying the most disgusting fucking disturbed shit. And it's like, and I will feel strange about saying what really is turning out to be the most kind of noble and fucking thing. It's like, if you're a young man and you're attracted to someone who's underage, the only gentleman and noble thing to do is to wait, and because that is really what it's about. It's not a fucking drive-through. It's not a fucking Baskin and Robbins ice cream factory. It's like, none of these things were supposed to be, but because we've destroyed marriage and we've destroyed all these things, none of it fucking makes sense anymore. And it's weird because I just really was never in this. I didn't have a chance. I was told I was going to be a father before I was 21, and so I felt a bit ripped off by that, and I was, but I wouldn't change it for the world. And so I just didn't. I was in kind of a weirdly anomalous position, and I never stopped desiring other women, but and weirdly, because of the fact that I am a father, and now it's like my oldest son is 18, my youngest daughter is 17. It's like, I've never not been attached to the situation that it's like that I might be presented with people there, and because I did the opposite, I had sex with people almost the age of my parents quite a lot when I was young, and so I was always aware that there's an opportunity to meet someone who's the same age as my children, and then that one day they're going to be adults. And it's like, that seems to be the argument that we're not having. So Donald Trump has been declared as all these fucking things, all this whatever, because he declared that his daughter was attractive, right? And he's policed on that by this cohort of the left. Oh, what a weirdo! Oh, he said his daughter's attractive. He said if he wasn't his daughter, all these things, and it's like, and then it's like, oh, he's been with this Epstein thing, who's these women, whatever. It's like, and then you've got in that same thing, you've got people saying that non-parental, and even when I say non-parental, it makes it sound fucking even creepier, because it's like, because it's like, they would even twist that to say that, well, if in the parental there's like consent, it's like, people, there should be, remove the fucking consent laws all the way down to fucking infants that aren't your children. And actually that if you teach children that fucking an adult is something bad, that you're actually traumatizing them. That's probably the main one. And that is in the book. That is in the book. I think the problem with it all is, and I've picked up on this, I think there is some truth to that. But I think the truth doesn't land in condoning the behavior. It lands in the being able, in instilling the ability to overcome very challenging situations. And that was more strongly held in our ancestors because they were confronted with hostility or difficult circumstances more frequently than we are. Because there is an effect. It's like, I've more likely seen it with women who have been sexually abused. It's like, the more you amplify the level of trauma and associate that with sexual abuse, yes, I do believe that amplifies the traumatic response. And so that. It's all, you could almost say, well, that's where the right is is causing some of this. But the answer isn't the reverse. That only happens in this duality, this bipartisanship thing. So it's like everything has to be a complete reversal for it to make sense. Even this morning, I've seen JFK fucking reverse the pyramid, which is kind of correct, but then also kind of not correct, because it's like, it's just shut up and stop telling us what to eat. Like at the point where that happens, everyone's kind of known that, but it's like the point that it's official. It's like, oh, thank you, it's official. But now it's like, well, that kind of is the official statement that we are in absolute chaos. It's like no one knows anything. And the whole fucking thing is up for grabs. The whole fucking thing is being exposed as absolute fucking bullshit. The way they turn that fucking pyramid upside down, it's like, well, that's when they're saying they're against fucking thing. The people claiming that the priests are all pedophiles are literally at the same time promoting an ideology that fucking not just celebrates, but enforces the normalization of pedophilia. I kid you not. It's not like I'm kind of in the thing, I'm like, hey, shouldn't be a pedophile. You shouldn't be a fucking pedophile, right? If you're attracted to a young woman, wait 5 years and they'll turn into or a young girl, wait 5 years and they'll turn into a young woman. And if you're not willing to wait, then stop being weird and gross. And it's like, that's because I was exposed to just enough of the fucking good Disney shit, which is all about love. And I haven't been persuaded to feel strange or whatever about any of these things, because I'm not a moron. I can tell a 14-year-old is going to be attractive in 4 years when they're legally able to do something. And I'm also allowed to say it because I've never been doing that. I don't associate with anyone really. I can't even remember I think in the last 20 years, the last 10 years, the youngest person I've had sex with was like maybe 26. And I thought that was fucking like a novelty. So it's like, as I said, I'm super fucking thing about it because it just seems like it's not worth it. It seems too much of a fucking, and because I had children, it's like, I don't want to fucking look after someone. Anyway, long story. But that can only exist in a paradigm of love. So it's like, but when everything's sexualized and over-sexualized, it becomes this. And they're literally like the priests, the fucking things, having sex with kids, they're corrupting them, doing these things. But it's like the nice fucking things are not. And it's like, have we lost the ability to be able to condemn people that do not have control over their fucking urges? Like, yes. You can't say that person overeats and the fucking whatever. You can't condemn the person who's an alcoholic. You can't condemn the fucking alcoholic. You can't condemn the fucking gambling addict. You can't condemn but you still condemn someone who's speeding in their car. It's only the very extreme cases of these things. Like, you'd have to, like, I don't know, overeat and then spew on a national monument, and then you might get a fine. But you go 5 kilometers over the speed limit, you get a fine. Same thing. I can't control my actions. I can't control my actions when I'm behind the wheel. Mostly I can, but sometimes I will speed. You know what I mean? I get the fine. For a long time, I couldn't control my nicotine. I still can't really. I couldn't contain my smoking habit, and I would smoke, and it cost me I got fined for it. And it's like, where in that with I kid you not, with pedophilia. And it's like, if you can't control your fucking urge for pedophilia, you don't get a fine until they catch you. And in some of these cases, it's like, you don't get a fine until they catch you. There's fucking 700 fucking pieces of fucking content on there, and you get a fucking suspended fucking sentence or a fucking 2-year fucking prison sentence. And it's like, how many fucking fines have you got from 700 fucking speeding tickets? And how many people are in fucking, the jails for that? And it's like, and are most people happy with people associating pedophilia as the same level as a fucking speeding, as going 10K over the fucking speed limit? No. That's not the same environment. If you're a fucking young, drug-fucked, fucking indoctrinated, fucking liberal, fucking woke, pride flag waving fucking lunatic, and you've associated that your fucking desire to fuck children is the same as going 10 kilometers over the speed limit, I think there's something fucking terribly gone wrong. Pedophilia isn't going 5K over the speed limit. Pedophilia it's like jumping into someone's fucking living room and setting fire to it. It's like, I don't know, and to raise a flag. And this is the problem as well. There is an argument that it's like, do you claim all the fucking LGBTQ people in the world are pedophiles? No. No, not at all. But this system is making that the only way to, so it's like, but they are protecting the pedophiles. And they are normalizing it. There's an argument that because homosexuality was so discriminated against, that the homosexual cohort, majoritively men, for the last 70 years have had to adapt a kind of survivor bias, very similar to like African Americans, and a survivorship ideology, which may have kind of skewed the perspective of adult child sexuality to kind of secure a win and to secure ground for the whole movement. And I would say, well, yeah, that's the problem with movements, and that's the problem with discrimination. We don't fix that problem by bowing down and submitting to the demands of the large group, the large mob with simplistic fucking solutions. We say we're sorry for being discriminative. We understand you have done this. If you continue to bring this into fucking heterosexual, fucking family-based fucking affair, like, and government interventions, all these things, you know what I mean? It's like, you need to start as if you're a fucking gay person or a bi, all these things. Okay, you need to tell the whole story now. You need to tell the whole story and understand that that is going to outrage the entire world. You know, if you take this, you think of like the outrage against Michael Jackson. It's like, this isn't one fucking weird pop star. That's been happening for thousands and thousands. There's been one weird fucking pop star, king, prince, fucking prophet. Look at Rasputin. Look what he did. It's like, okay, all right, that's one thing, right? you fucking hoisted your flag above all these. It's like, you better fucking start telling the fucking story, and we will promise that we will try to fucking, hold our fucking handgun hand like off our fucking holster. And then perhaps we can get somewhere. It's like, you'd better fucking start saying, because I think it's like, I believe it's like, again, I'm just giving you fucking, it's like I'm giving you fucking pathway here to walk on. And the pathway to walk on is that because of the discrimination, things had to be secret, and you had to do all these lies and tell all these fucking things. And this had to be this big fucking fun protect game because it's dangerous. And so we're just like the Jews hiding under the fucking under the floorboards, you know what I mean? And that's why we need to do these things, and and it's just between us. And it's like, and then eventually we're going to normalize it for everyone. And it's like, you're victims of fucking abuse, you're victims of bigotry, you're victims of discrimination, you're victims of all these fucking things. You don't have, and so when you observe the traditional family dynamics, all these things, you assume that the same thing is going on there, and I can guarantee you that it's fucking not. And we've hit critical mass. So it's like, within critical mass, it's like, this story needs to start being told. And it needs to be told in a way that it doesn't increase discrimination towards gay people. The Jews aren't your fucking scapegoats either, you twisted, degenerate cunts. And I'm allowed to say that because you are. You trespassed and invaded my fucking territory, not the fucking other way around. I haven't fucking really been homophobic since I was 10 years old. You misread the fucking thing because your brain is fucked up from having to hide. I'll take responsibility for my forefathers, including my very own father, for the discrimination, for the bigotry. If you take responsibility for saying that you fucking read the room wrong, you like to think, oh, everyone's a pedophile. No, everyone's not a fucking pedophile. You know what I mean? There is a difference between, and that's funny because I'm looking at a young girl, I don't know how old she is, take Ben out, cross the fucking road. She's beautiful, got beautiful legs, whatever. It's like, unless she brings me her fucking birth certificate, you know what I mean? And like a 10-page fucking consent form from every single person ever in her fucking entire life, and fucking all these things. And like a million, it's like, there's nothing ever going to happen. But hey, I like looking at her legs. And even for me personally, it's like, I don't even then go to the level of like, that's nice, and then go to that level of the fucking thing. Because I'm properly socialized. I'm properly fucking house trained. I'm properly fucking kind of, you know what I mean? Civilized. I don't try and. It's very like, take this nicotine. I've got nicotine gum in. I'm chewing this. You know what I mean? I've had a nicotine addiction my whole life. I did mention as well, my dad would smoke a pipe and the thing. So it's like, mate, you know what I mean? Oh, look what my dad gave me. He gave me, a drug habit of a substance, and he also cured me of another one because I don't drink, but he did. But I don't go around fucking telling everyone that we should be fucking kids. So it's like, and they're not at the same level. And this fucking drug, I've paid hundreds of thousands of dollars in tax so that you can all fucking, promote fucking pedophilia with my money. And while I take the discrimination of being a smoker. So who paid for this? Who were enslaved? Who were fucking highway robbed to promote the fucking this pedophile fucking thing? Cigarette smokers, nicotine users. We were robbed So you could fucking wave a flag about fucking kids, you dirty cunts. You filthy fucking absolute fucking degenerate fucking maggots. So, and the funny thing is, like, we can't do the same thing because all your industry is all disgusting and fucking linked in black market and all these things anyway. And now we've got some type of black market cigarette war going on. But basically, I can declare that the fucking every single fucking cent of fucking nicotine cigarette tax is going to be disintegrated tomorrow, come what may. You know what I mean? But we don't need a warning on there. Everyone knows that cigarettes are bad. Don't smoke. It's stupid. It might give you cancer. I don't know. Fucking what the fuck ever. But if you think that's the same fucking conversation, you'd be wrong. You'd be wrong. You're comparing one single commodity and its fucking unique and diverse distribution across the world with what you consider as another commodity, which is underage fucking children. It's not a commodity, cunts. It's not a fucking commodity. I wonder how many pedophiles I could fucking kill, you know, with a fucking iced coffee and a fucking pack of cigarettes and, you know, big fucking thing of ammo and a list. Just like fucking reverse Santa Claus. Like, oh, there's another one. And we do fucking weird shit, like we'd get excavators and throw them in the air and then shoot them in the air and stuff like that. This is why Prince Charming doesn't work. Dirty Harry didn't turn into Prince Charming. It didn't work because of guns. Again, and I haven't actually used guns. I'm using them now, but I used a sword. This is my sword. So my Prince Charming fucking status is here. Now I'm fed up with it all. I don't know what to do anymore. I don't really have a cohort. There's so many old and middle-aged and young women that have gone along with this that they all disgust me, and I'm kind of horrified by them. Men are so fickle. I'm really not attracted to men majoritively. There's the odd one, but it's like whatever. And then it's like the trans men are like victims. So it's like, but then it's like, but then I don't know what that to like I don't know, to deprogram all of that fucking bullshit and to fucking deal, and then to like that's going to get really old really quickly for an actual man. The same as looks do. Like looks get really old. It's like, oh, she's amazing. And after a month, you're like, fuck this. If that's a man, that's going to end up, I think, way worse based on just an assumption. You know, so if you've turned yourself into a gorgeous little fucking nympho minx as a guy, you're setting yourself up for the biggest revelation is that you're only ever going to be mistreated and misused. And so, yeah, but then I'm not an incel either. So it's like, that's again, I'm a prostitute, $1,000 a fucking hour. And I think I've earned every fucking cent of that. And whatever you want me to do, you want me to appear as Dirty Harry, or do you want me to appear as fucking Katy Perry? Maybe not, you know, I'm not. That's a pretty big range to cover, but, you know, just dim the lights a bit. But it's like, that's it. I try and fix the world so that we're free to fucking just sit on our lawn and rocking chair with our fucking handgun and say, get off my lawn. And I turn out being a fucking high-class fucking international escort, but showing how to do it properly. It's like there's no shortcuts. Right? If you've been turned into a prostitute by your socialist government and our socialist fucking fascist fucking corporations around the world, and you're a young man or a young woman, you got to now cover both bases. You can't. It's like those little eyelashes and things, and the little prettiness is going to run out, and it's not sustainable, and it's on the button. And the same with the women. So you're gonna age out, you're gonna run out, and so you better have some fucking skills under your belt and some practicality, and that's going to be really complicated. Because it's hard to fucking, because you break your nails and stuff. And so it's like, we can't win. We can't win. But I think I won in some way because I've exposed a lot of things that have been kept purposefully out of frame. I'm like, come back into the frame, you pedophile cunts. Come back in there. Get fucking, look at him smiling. He's about to tell his story about how he's normalised fucking pedophilia. There you go. Come on. Tell everyone how you normalise pedophilia, you fuckwit. Tell everyone how you normalise fucking pedophilia and drug abuse and fucking irresponsible fucking socialist bullshit. Come on. Smile. Smile. I'm not actually punching you. And no one's even there. Are you offended by this? Are you offended by me artificially holding a pedophile, punching him in the face like this in front of everyone? Why would you be offended by that? Look at him. He's smiling. Smile, cunt. Like that. It's not hard, and everyone gets their chance to tell their fucking truth. Yeah. Tell everyone your truth. Hurry up. Tell everyone who else fucking made you believe this was your truth. Let's all come out. Wave your flag. Yeah, look at his flag. Look at his flag. And get the fuck off my lawn.